What about the ones that they announced? Because that's where a lot of the news buzz comes from. And I've been in one of those. There is such an excitement in the room when they announce those toys. And when you see, like, oh, they're making that. That's cool. Oh, man, I want to go buy that right now. Can I leave my money in a box when I leave the door and just pick one up at Walmart in like 2 months? We'll breeze through some of the small stuff and then we'll work our way up, because I kind of think I know what you're really thinking, what you want to hear from me. In both the good toys and, yeah, we'll get there. Start small, appropriate enough with the kre-o, which seems like they're going in just the crayon direction, which is probably for the best. I've had several of the building sets now, all fan provided, by the way. I've got like 4 different kre-o building sets now. I never bought a one. So I thank you. Thank you if you picked one up for me. They've come from all over the world, too, which is incredibly cool. The last one I got in, Starscream, a friend of mine picked that up for me, and the jet mode's actually really cool. I'm frightened of the robot mode. I haven't transformed it yet. They're going to continue with the combiners. I thought that was cool. I really would have liked to hear if we were getting some of the ones that looks like the... Because they showed off a lot of the single-pack ones, and one of them was G1 Nose Cone. And I was thinking, is that alluding to, like, kre-o Technobots? Because I would buy the hell out of some Kreon Technobots. I really would. That's my favorite G1 combiner. So, I was like, that's what I wanted to hear. They didn't announce anything. They didn't announce that they're going to make custom packs where you get to build your... Like, you build your own Kreon and customize your own Transformer Kreon thing, which sounds cool. Depends on how they... structure that, you know, you get a few wings, okay, you get a couple wings, you get a couple treads, you know, work with whatever you can and release them in different colors, mix and match, you know, that kind of thing. We'll see. It does have, it's an idea with merit, let's put it that way. We also have Constructabots, which is Transformers' take on Bionicle. I'm not going to go too far into these because I think most reaction to it is, I'm kind of liking the idea behind these. Like, I'm kind of looking forward to picking up a few and just kind of goofing around. I like how it has this very simple and non-threatening approach to customizing your own Transformer builds. You know, it's not as permanent as altering a retail toy, and it's not as intimidating as recombining a 300-piece kre-o set. So, it's a very nice way of being able to have customized Transformer characters without really having to go through a lot of work or develop a lot of skills to do it. Because I've customized my own Transformer before, and that's just doing paint, and it's not that easy. It's just not. You know, I have such respect for the customizers who can go all out, you know, and add new joints to the toy and mix this toy in with this toy, and it still smoothly transforms. You know, it's like you work black magic. Nothing I will ever do. So, I like the, you know, I love looking at it more than I do. But I like to have a toy line where that's the whole point, is to just kind of build your own thing. That sounds neat. So. I'll be watching it in the background, pretty much. To the main lines, and we're going to work our way up again, starting with the Cyberverse Legions. We're getting repaints of the Predacons, or in the Terracons that I have already reviewed. Rot Gut from Blight. Looks okay. You know, this little bright green guy. I don't know if I'll pick him up, but... Dive Bomb, who kind of got swoop colors, and that's such a mean looking mold. That's kind of surprised that they picked that one to be the Defector, to be like the Autobot Predacon. And oh, I wish that concept was explored in a bigger toy. Like, they're repainting, like, the back of the box on Grimwing says if any Predacon is going to become an Autobot, this is the one. And then they repaint him into a completely different character, and I'm like, no! Make him the Autobot version. Make it more interesting than that. it kind of upset me that the little one is the one that's going to be the Autobot, because his bio on the back of the box, which should be very fascinating as to why you turn against your own species to join the Autobot cause and fight against your brethren, is going to be like 2 sentences long. God, it's such a waste. Ugh. You can't write a character. You can't put a character like that in such simple terms. You just can't. It looks neat, though. It looks neat. I'll probably pick him up. I do like that we're getting repaints of the Abominus guys, because they still have their transformation joints. So you get little options in all your little combinations, which that looks like it'll be cool. No repaints yet for Hunger and Twin Strike. I don't know. Does Ripper Sniper have a repaint? I know they're repainting others as like what, Legion 2 packs. I can't remember. Don't correct me. I'll probably check after this video. And I do know that Takara is doing a completely different paint job on all of them, and it does look neat. I don't know if I'd pick it up or not, but I don't know. It's there. I like that you're going to have a lot of options for combining with these guys. The one that struck me was Blue Streak, who, hey look, it's going to be a blue streak, guys. It only took 30 years. What amuses me about that is we now have like the Autobot version of the Seekers, the Dotson trio of Smokescreen, Prowl, and Blue Streak, all represented in the same mold once again. And only Prowl is in his right colors. Because Smokescreen's in white, not blue. Blue Streak is in blue, not silver. Geez, even, you know, like even when Smokescreen is blue, he's like in alternator colors with a yellow, which I find more interesting. You know, instead of mixing in the red, like, which would be more traditional. So that's more amusing than anything. You know, what would have completed it is if Prowl was in like animated colors, like black and gold, which I'm surprised they didn't do that, because because they're both, they're going from one white toy to one white toy. I don't know. That's just, I don't know. This is just me being I don't know, me being I'm not creative or obvious, one or the other, whichever. To the Commander class, Bludgeon. Oh my god, I need that toy. That works so much better than it should. Like, way better than it should. I was always upset with movie Bludgeon because he's got these really spindly arms and legs because he's very movie in those areas, and then his chest is very solid and thick. So he looks very classics style in the chest and torso. And then his head is like really weird, cartoony, big eyes, and yeah, red in the middle, and this very round helmet. I'm looking at him right now. It's a nice thing about doing the videos around the shelves. It looked animated. Like, it's very much more cartoony than the rest of his body. So it always felt like these just like jumbled together, like crammed together aesthetics. Because like apparently they were supposed to be released in one line, and then they went no, and we're going to release them in the movie line, so they get jumbled together. So this one is far more unified. It is very Prime in aesthetic. It has some of that movie elements, like the skull style chest piece and all that. Looks incredibly cool. I wish they'd do that to the big Shockwave. I wouldn't mind that being like Shockwave's like default remold from now on, because it just looked that good. So that one I'm really looking forward to. We have the Unicron Megatron repaint, which is okay. He's gold, which worries me. Gold plastic is improved, but then again, they haven't done like a shiny gold in a long time, so who knows. Ultra Magnus, using Prime's original Cyberverse toy. It amuses me that all of Prime's molds have been getting these Ultra Magnus remolds, and they're trying to work in the new chest and the tall shoulders in whatever way they can. And like from from the Weaponizer toy to the Voyager, now the Cyberverse, they all have their own idea of how to work those changes in, and all of them are hysterical. None of them work completely, but it's funny to see them try. It really is. So this one just looks weird and doofy, and it's gonna be an easy pass for me there. I still need to get his Voyager. That wave, him and Grimwing, still not around here. We'll skip the rest of the Prime for now. We'll move on to Generations in the Legends class. That Cosmos. Ooh, that Cosmos. For those unaware, that is the original concept for Classics Cosmos that they wanted to release in 2006. But they didn't do it because no kid is going to pay $10 for a big green disc. No kid knows what that looks like. You know, and he was then going to be in the Titanium line, and then Titanium folded, and eventually they made a Legion class, or not a Legion, a Legends class Cosmos. But it wasn't based on the Classics design that they had created. It wasn't based on the remodel. It was very G1 based. He still had the giant, like, big rounded arm thing going on. And there's some influence from the Classics design, but it wasn't that design. This is that design, and it's so nice. I'm so happy we're finally getting it. And his little Target Master guy looks a lot better than the ones that came out in the first wave. So that one I'm looking forward to. Looking forward to a lot of these, come to think of it. Swerve, I'm a big fan of the More Than Meets the Eye comics. If you haven't read them, they are great comics just as comics, not just being Transformers. And I'm going to try and hold the spoilers on that, but the comic has been out for a while now, so I will just skip it and say that the July issue has Starsaber on the cover. A really freaking awesome looking Starsaber design, and the way he's introduced into the story is just one of those, like, what kind of moments. So I'm really looking forward to that issue now, just to find out why. Go read the comic. It's a great comic. I'm trailing off now. Yeah, so we're getting a Swerve. We're getting a really cool looking Swerve. It's G1, it's IDW, it looks awesome. Suck it, iGear. We're getting Tailgate later on. We didn't get to see him, though. He was just one of those that was announced and the no photos, and kind of surprised that illicit photos haven't shown up yet, because there's usually some that always leak. Someone always has a sneaky camera. Someone link me. I want to see this stuff. Look, so yeah, Tailgate's it's gonna be cool because I've got a Cyclonus for him to pal around with right here, and then we're getting a Shrapnel or Sharp Shot that they have to call him now, with Reflector as his mini-con, or his, like, Target Master guy, or whatever they're gonna call it. But a Reflector! Like, well, the camera mode and everything. It's awesome! Oh my god, I cannot wait for that one. That's gonna be so freaking cool. I'm excited. I really like that Legend size. Really like that Legend size. I was hoping they'd start doing things like that with it. You know, it's because it's that nice size where they still get to be interesting toys, but they're still inexpensive enough that the designers get to do anything they want. So we're getting some really cool, interesting stuff out of that. Moving on to the deluxes, there's the remolds of the stuff that's coming out sometime this month. Dreadwing, based on the G2, looks really cool. It's the Megatron mold, and that Megatron mold does look quite awesome. Goldfire, which is the IDW Earth Mode Bumblebee look that he just went back to in the comics. With the, well, now he does look exactly like Goldfire, because Goldfire is based on Goldbug, without actually being Goldbug, because IDW has their own Goldbug. It's weird. It hurts my head. But so far it's just announced as, and there's so far it's just announced as Goldfire, which kind of surprised me. No Bumblebee attachment anyway, and he doesn't look like Bumblebee. Like, he's got the Goldbug head, but he's blue and he's painted gold everywhere, so yeah. I wasn't going to pick him up, but he actually does change enough that I went, well, maybe. Skids. IDW Skids. And even even as a fan of the comics, I'm not too attached to Skids, but oh my god, that thing looks cool. It's freaking armed to the T. There's missiles and flip-out guns. Oh my... This guy is a walking arsenal. Oh, I cannot... Oh, it looks cool. You look at the vehicle mode, I'm like, where does it all go? I'm really looking forward to toying around with that one. And then, yes... Yeah, there's the obvious one. We're getting a new Waspinator. Oh dear. Where's the old one? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there's the animated one. It's buried. We're getting a new Waspinator, and oh, it is dead accurate. Okay, well, the bug mode is okay. The bug mode, okay. The wasp mode is very simplified, and it's kind of like pudgy. He looks more like a honeybee now, but the robot mode looks like he stepped right out of the cartoon. If you haven't seen it, oh, it's freaking gorgeous. Beautiful Waspinator toy. The Waspinator we deserve. You know, I lost faith when they made that Cheetor such junk, and actually the Dinobot wasn't bad, but they screwed up the colors on it terribly, and it so disappointed me. There's another regret. I never got the Henkei one that looked right. One more to go hunting for that's way more expensive than it used to be. But yeah, Waspinator looks incredible. Just in case he hasn't seen it, I will be bringing a photo to MetroCon to show Scott. He needs to see this. Oh my god, he needs to see this. Yeah. I will admit, the wing flap gimmick is kind of meh. I'm always disappointed when a Waspinator toy doesn't come out with like the old 90s exploding gimmick. Like if you ever had the old T-1000 or Scorpion alien toys, you press a button on their back and their core shoots out, their front half flies this way, the back half flies this way. It's hysterical. And it seems like, oh, that's Waspinator's gimmick. Can I have one do that? Then there's the stuff we didn't see. We're doing a Fall of Cybertron Skywarp, and guys, this is my last chance. See, is it in frame? No, because it's way up there. My one upset when they made that Cybertron Starscream was that it never came out in black and purple, because that toy would have been so gorgeous in black and purple. I've been waiting for that kind of Tetrajet, that War Within style Tetrajet, to be made in proper Skywarp colors. And Takara announced theirs, and I got really excited, and then it was mostly purple instead of black, and I went, no. Bad Takara, you're supposed to be the good painters in your corner. That got on my nerves so bad. But now it looks like Hasbro's going to do their own, and since that Skywarp was kind of a limited... since that Skywarp was kind of a Takara exclusive thing, I expect it to be the proper black. Give me black. Give me black. Please. Wait for it. Like, I've got the titanium for the Tetrajet for the War Within design, but it's just not the same. The thing doesn't look nearly as good. And I'm really a big fan of that mold, too. I'm a really big fan of that mold. The Fall of Cybertron mold, I mean. So I'm really hoping it's the right colors. Scoop. You heard that right. G1 Scoop, like the double Target Master guy. I've got one, as a matter of fact. But he was the Autobots kind of earth mover or bulldozer kind of guy. And he's for some reason getting a new toy. I assume so they have a proper Target Master for Thrilling 30. Why Scoop? Like, I don't know who else you would have done. Like Quick Mix, maybe. You know, why not do like there were others. There were more prominent ones. I immediately say there's more prominent ones, and I can't remember the names, but I can remember Quick Mix. I don't know. It's 3 in the morning when I'm recording this. Give me a break. But they're crosshairs. Thank you. Oh my god. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Why not do that? Okay, getting it together. Scoop, really weird. Freaking weird. Apparently he looks cool, but freaking weird choice. Then there is the choice. Oh my god, there is the choice. We're getting a deluxe Armada Starscream. And I am amazed at this. I am thrilled at this in the way that you guys won't realize because you think I hate all of Armada. I don't. That is the... That Starscream is the one good thing that came out of Armada. The character on Starscream is so good, I refuse to do a Plastic Addict episode on his toy until I have the worst version of it that has nothing to do with Starscream. Which, that's the Universe Ramjet. The Toys R Us exclusive. I need to track that one down to do a Plastic Addict on that mold, because the mold is terrible. The mold is awful. But the character, it's such a dynamic character for such a one-dimensional show. It really transcended his whole series. When Universe came up, Universe 2.0, and they announced that we're going to do a deluxe Starscream. I'm like, oh, cool. They announced a Hotshot toy. This is probably the counterbalance. We do a Hotshot based on Armada. We do a Starscream based on Armada. That's what they did with Cheetor and Dinobot. 1 and 1, right? Wrong. It's the classics mold in a more G1 color scheme. I understand. It was an incredibly popular toy. The demand for that toy shot through the roof as soon as it was off the shelves. You wanted to capitalize on it. Fair game. I was really getting hyped up for a deluxe Armada Starscream that had good articulation. It wasn't hampered by this enormous cannon gimmick that made this big thing hanging off of his back. Like, I was like really excited for like a quality Armada Starscream toy, the one he deserved to have. And now we finally get it. We finally get it now. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. That's the one I want to see. If someone knows where there's photos of that event, of the reveal event, that's the one I want to see. I want to see that Starscream. I want to know if it still has if anyone was there, tell me. I want to know if it still has the giant cannon backpack. Did they do away with that? Did they minimize it? Did they hide it away? Tell me they improved that. Tell me his sword looks like a sword now. Tell me, I don't know. Just, I don't know. Tell me something really good about that toy, because I really want that toy to be good. Plus, it's another Starscream Deluxe we get to abuse with repaints for the next 5 years. You know, can you imagine? You know, hey, Botcon, I want you to do a Unicron trilogy set. We're coming out with our Armada Starscream. Hello? Hint, hint. Oh my god. Getting into Voyagers, there's Double Dealer. All I can really hope for Double Dealer is that they fix the mold issues with Blitzwing. I'll tell you what, guys. I grabbed a Blitzwing as fast as I could because I really wanted to be one of the first to get this online, because what you don't know, bar none, without any hesitation or deviation, Blitzwing is my absolute favorite Decepticon. Period. G1 or otherwise. I freaking love G1 Blitzwing. Wait, go watch Five Faces of Darkness. Pay attention to this little miniature arc they create for him. You might understand why. He's kind of Dinobot before Dinobot was around. And the fact that they gave the rest of his storyline to Octane instead of seeing it through to the end actually makes him better. Because it's a story of redemption now, rather than I'm kind of iffy, but I'll go back. I wanted to do a whole vlog just on Blitzwing, but that toy disappointed me so much. The toy disappointed me so much, I decided, you know what, never mind. I can't review this. This is the one time where I will not be able to escape my fanboyism. I'm going to recommend a toy based on my love of the character, not the quality of the toy. And that's not right of me to do, because the toy really is very, very flawed. So, that's... I'm going to shut the screensaver off next time I do this. That's why that happens. So I hope Double Dealer fixes those mold issues. That said, I'm not interested in Double Dealer, because that mold, I understand, is one of the only triple changers they had left. But again, a missile truck is not a tank, and a Condor is not a jet. You're trying very, very hard to work that character into that mold, and it just doesn't work. I'll tell you what, I did like a digibash of that toy into Overlord. Because I'm thinking, with all the IDW Deluxes, it'd be a really good time to make an Overlord toy, and he is a jet and a tank. The way the mold is painted and done, this is actually possible. Hello? And I digibashed it, and it looked really good. If it had the head, it'd be perfect. And they went in a different direction, and I don't like the direction, because was anyone really clamoring for another Double Dealer? It's just another one of those characters that's just kind of... He was a very gimmick toy back in the day. He didn't have a whole lot to him. I like the double nature behind it, but I'm hesitant to see how they could recreate that in that toy. Who knows? But then there's the other Voyager. We're getting a Rhinox. A real Rhinox. A Rhinox that's the size, appropriate for the show, because he was the big guy of the Maximals. And everyone, he was, almost the smallest one, outside of Rat Trap. Because he was very dumpy. And I've got his toy right there. That's the 10th anniversary one. It's not good. It's not Plastic Addict bad, but for what Beast Wars brought to the table, not good. A lot of shell, a lot of kibble, a lot of hindered joints, and just weird design elements. This thing looks like it walked right off the show. The CG model come to life. It's amazing looking, beautiful toy. Really eager for that. And more than that, it's got the chain guns, and the chain guns have spin gimmicks. It looks incredible. The Rhino mode should never open its mouth because it looks very derpy with the big hangy jaw that doesn't. It's not really where the jaw is supposed to hinge. But it does look really cool. I just question why Rhinox. When I think of Beast Wars characters, Rhinox as a Voyager, I think I do like a new Transmetal Megatron first, or something like that. Or, oh jeez. I would say that of all the Beast Wars toys, Rhinox is the one that needs the most help. He's the one who needs a new toy the most. I just question if it had to be a Voyager, that's all. Because it seems like there should have been someone else in there. I don't know. I will point out, there was also the announcement that we're getting a Whirl in the Voyager size. That should be really cool. I like the IDW Whirl. Trigger happy lunatic that he is. He should be a really cool toy. What I noticed is, did anyone see the Fall of Cybertron Grimlock remold with a Transmetal with a Beast Wars Megatron head? That raised so much speculation and so much oh my god, they're really gonna do that? Really? Okay, it's a Robo T-Rex, I get it, but really, that Megatron is just a remold and a mold that really doesn't suit him? I think it just put everyone off when that remold came up. And I heard mixed and very conspicuous with its absence, right? Because we got Rhinox, who is presumably much farther down the line than something that already has prototypes made up, and they had prototypes months ago, rather. Prototypes that had leaked to us, I should say. Um, there was no announcement. We got Whirl, who isn't quite done yet. They announced him. So, and I heard different reports. I heard one that said that didn't mention anything, and then I saw a report where, both reports mentioned that Beast Wars Megatron won the fan poll, rightfully so. But I also saw one report where they said that as a result, he would be getting a better toy for Thrilling 30, somewhere in the vein of like the new Waspinator and Rhinox. Can anyone confirm that? Because I only got one source on that particular chunk of info. Because if he won the fan vote and they had this like really bad idea one coming down the line, just to use the character and just meh, I could see them going, okay, pull the drag chute. We need to do this right, which is what you hope they go for. So I'm hoping he gets a better toy than that, because he deserves a better toy. And I know this vlog has gone on forever. I told you we had a lot to get through. This might be like a third vlog at this point. I might have split in half between the box set and the reveals. I don't know yet. But this is the main event. This is what everyone is waiting for. This is the opinions. Everyone clicked on it. If you know who I am, you clicked on this video to see what I thought of the new Waspinator. Beyond that, you clicked on this video to figure out what I was going to say about the new Transformers Prime Beast Hunters. Because they decided, like, during the event, during like the actual reveal event, you had the real-time updates over on TFW 2005. You had, there was no photos yet, but you had them saying they wanted to go back to simpler toys. They wanted to go back to toys that a kid could just like sit down on the floor and play with and transform without any kind of worry or having to flip through 20, 30 instruction steps just to change it from one mode to another. Like, supposedly they compared a modern Transformer instruction sheet with over 20 instruction steps to, like, G1 Wheeljack's, who has, like, I think, like, 6 or 7. And the first thing I thought is, hallelujah! If you know me, I say it more on the TFW 2005 podcast more than I say it here on YouTube. My two biggest pet peeves. Number one is clear plastic used where it doesn't belong, i.e. ball joints or as like really tight hinges, stress-bearing hinges, pretty much. And the other one is over complexity. It is toys that are, well, I'm not pulling an example here because the light's not too good when I hold it up. But the pet peeve is this. It's those toys you pick up where there's 20, 30 steps. You're looking at an afternoon and a nap in between. You need a free afternoon and a nap in between just to get this thing transformed, which is not fun for me. A Transformer should feel like an escape rather than a chore in and of itself. So I was like, when you have these toys where, okay, here's this panel that it's got 2 tabs on this side, and they have to go around the tab on this side. Meanwhile, these 2 tabs on top have to fold underneath the windshield, and somehow this thing's peg, which is thick on one end, so it has to kind of wedge under and hook in. And it all, all these pegs on all these different sides of this panel, they all have to go in at the same time, and it's all very thin plastic, so you're scared to death of breaking this thing. Whatever happened to just moving the piece there and it stayed there? Whatever happened to just, hey, this is where it goes. There's maybe one peg or tab, and it's a sturdy peg and tab at that. You know, what happened to like the classic style engineering? Or these guys. You know, here are my Cybertron toys. You know, I think back to these, and there's a few things that tab together, and there's a few guys with door panels and such. But for the most part, they're all extremely clean. They're efficiently designed to transform smoothly. They don't rely on a ton of panels. They don't rely on, you know, enormous instruction sheets. Which I wish I had one to show you guys, because it's freaking ridiculous how big these are now. Oh. Do I have one? Oh, yeah. Yeah, here's Blitzwings. Here's Blitzwings if you haven't actually seen one of these yet. That's the roadmap. Yeah, that's modern Transformer for you. Yeah. Yep, here's Shockwaves. Here's the Beast Hunters. And you saw my review. Shockwave's not a complex Transformer. Look at that. Look at that. He's an extremely simple Transformer. Really? Really? It makes no sense to me. So, when they announced that, I was thrilled. Oh my god, finally! You know, and they're going to be bigger as a result. Finally! We got the proper size back, we got the level of engineering back. You know, as long as the joints are in that, like, middle ground 2000 era where they're not super articulated, but they do enough, I will be thrilled. You know, like, I will be buying Transformers until I'm 45. No. 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 The first wave, if you haven't seen it, they took 4 Cyberverse Legion class toys and they scaled them up to deluxe. That's it. They didn't add knees or elbows. They didn't, for the most part, they didn't really improve the paint apps. They're not that much better. They gave them some new weapons, but beyond that, there's no gimmick. And I'm against, I'm against intrusive gimmicks, but if it's a gimmick that's out of the way and keeps kids involved in the toy, fine, whatever. I've seen good ones, as a matter of fact. But the toys themselves are just, they replace the ball joints with universal joints, and I will take a universal joint instead of a ball joint. But in some cases, they actually made the articulation worse. You know how much I raved over Windrazor? They're doing a deluxe Windrazor, and normally that would have me, like, on the roof. Like, I would be singing the praises of Hasbro for that, because he deserves a bigger toy. Took out his elbow joints. He's got no hinge or ball joint or anything in his elbows anymore. It's just stiff wing. So they actually made him... They took away what made him so good. It's embarrassing. It's incredibly embarrassing as a Transformer fan just to see how cheap and cop-out Hasbro's gotten. And I understand why. Costs of production costs are enormous these days. They're trying to find ways of... They're trying to see how cheap they can make the toys and still keep kids buying them. If you take a look at, for instance, the Ultimate Spider-Man toys that Hasbro's making, they're crap. Like, if you know anything about toys, they're crap. But apparently, they sell. I don't know how. Because it's toys with, like, 90s, like you see, I think it's Bandai, or it's Bandai. I don't know who's got the DC license these days. Is it Mattel? I don't care. But you see the DC toys, and for years, and even the brand new toys, and they've got the same old T-shaped hips from the 90s, and the arms only do this, but apparently kids still buy them because they still make them. And they charge a fortune for them when they're like toys made up of like 6 pieces. So it's just this thing where they're trying to figure out, okay, will the kids still buy them if we make them this cheap? And at least they're doing it with the tail end of the Prime line. They're basically making the last run of Prime's toys into a test market run to see just, will kids buy these, and will kids enjoy these just as they are? Just with the novelty of being really big compared to the toys they were buying, even if they don't have elbows and knees and all that. And it's not, and I understand, the toy market's suffering, video games and the internet and all that, the other distractions kids have, they're eating into the time and pressure, and it's really hard to keep kids' attention these days, which is why I wonder, why did you do something with no gimmicks or articulation? They're trying to figure out just how they can still make toys compelling for kids whilst keeping the cost as low as possible. I get that. I understand it. Believe me, I do. But to charge me $13-15 to do what knockoff companies do to their toys all the time, just taking the same molds and upscaling them, it's a freaking insult. It really is. It's like, hey kids, you know that toy you bought for $6? Here it is again. $15, please. And it's pure profit too, because they didn't do anything different. They didn't upgrade it. They didn't change the engineer. Nothing. It's the exact same toy. They already worked the engineering out, at this point, years ago. Years ago, because that's how long that Legends Bumblebee toy has been around. And of course it's the first one that they're making, because, it's for Bumblebee. It's such a cop-out. It's just, like, the bottom of the barrel. Like, I never expected Hasbro to do something that cheap. I've been complaining for a while now that the plastic has been getting more hollow. They've been using fewer pins and screws to hold things together, where instead it's just plastic hinges and connection points. I've seen them cheap out here and there, but I never, ever thought it would get that bad. And I'm hoping this isn't a constant. I'm hoping that for Transformers 4 or whatever in between line they have for between Beast Hunters and the next movie, I'm hopeful that they figure out a middle ground, like to take us back to that mid-2000s size and level of just solid toys with good articulation that don't need super complex transformations. I'm hoping that there's a middle ground there that we will eventually find. And I hope that this is just the experimental first run of this new approach. And then the other part of me hopes that it completely tanks so they never do this again. Like, I didn't like it when they made the deluxes smaller, but compared to that, if that's what it takes to keep them the old size, shrink them. I don't care. Just make sure they're still good, compelling, and interesting toys to play with. You can't, with the market for toys shrinking amongst kids these days, you can't afford to make them boring. You can't afford to create something that's going to insult the kids' intelligence. Yes, they don't have to, yes, they shouldn't take 30 steps to transform. They shouldn't, $15 toys shouldn't take 4 either. Ugh. Can you tell I'm not happy? I will say, thank you to Hasbro for making my buying decisions in 2014 much smoother. I will be buying the hell out of Generations, which thankfully looks to be collector-oriented, because they're not touching the articulation there. They're not touching the quality there. If anything, the new toys look better than they have been with that series lately. So, thankfully it's not going that far. But, as for Transformers Prime, I still need to find Skystalker and Grimwing. The Prowl that's coming out looks really cool. I like the new head they gave him. And beyond that, there's Grimwing's Target repaint and the Skylinks repaint, which looks wicked. It really does. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be the last of the Prime toys I buy, and some of the Cyberverse stuff like Bludgeon. So so I can, like, if that's what Prime's going to be, that's like half of my Transformer budget's cut. Because if that's what it's going to be, cut me out. I will say the Voyagers aren't nearly as bad since they're based on the Cyberverse Commanders. I don't know why you'd make another Optimus, because the first Optimus he did was really, really good. Like, an incredibly good toy. And it's saturated to the point where it's just, you can't pay people to take it off the shelves right now, because they just made too many. It was the Bumblebee syndrome. They made one for every wave of Voyagers. It made no sense. So, that was upsetting. It's just, like, really, that's the best he got, another Voyager Prime. It isn't as good as the last one. They do at least retain their articulation. They do, they retain their level of detail. He doesn't look that bad, but he doesn't look like, I need another one. Predaking, on the other hand, looks completely new. His wings aren't in his lower back anymore. The official photo we got looked gorgeous, because it's that dark blood red that he is in the show, and the head was really well painted, the chest was really well painted, the wings were painted, the wings were translucent, the wings looked awesome on this thing. Translucent plastic used correctly. And the Dragon mode still looked really cool and intimidating, and I know this is going to be a cheaper made Predaking, but it still looked really good for Predaking, right? And knowing that it's going to be bigger than the current Voyager, which is just kind of okay, that made it cool. That sounded cool. And they go and ruin it. The mold still looks fine, but when they brought it out on the show floor, the toy was pitch black. The head looked really bad. Ugh. It just killed my enthusiasm. I wanted that dark, dark red that was so accurate and it was so pretty. This stark black that I just can't really roll with. It had one shining light. I had one hope for that new Voyager line, for that new Prime Beast Hunters line, and you screwed it up. You ruined it. I have only one hope left, and that's if they make the Commander size trail cutter in that new Voyager class. I'll buy that in a heartbeat. So yeah, I can guarantee you there's going to be some plastic attic material out of that deluxe line at some point. I'm not buying any, but I have no doubt someone's going to send a few my way at some point. I kind of want one just as the novelty. Like, I own like one of those knockoff giant mini cons just for the novelty. But you know what? I can go down to Big Lots and pay like $4 for what Hasbro's going to charge me $15 for. Thanks a lot. So the reveals at Botcon were such a mixed bag. Okay, there's a bunch of repaint stuff coming. None of it's too thrilling. The new stuff they're just announcing and haven't completely shown off looks and sounds incredible. The Beast Wars toys are amazing looking. I don't know how they're ever going to reuse them. We got Buzzsaw out of Waspinator, maybe. I'd prefer a Starscream. I like that episode, which reminds me, if that legend-sized Starscream, the one that comes with the mini Waspinator, if that Waspinator can actually fit in weapon mode in Waspinator's hand, we will have the most meta Transformer ever, and I really want that to work. If we're talking Rhinox, can someone give me like the evil Rhinox from like when he was like brainwashed into being a Predacon? Like the purple and silver and like toxic green Rhinox? That would be cool. Yeah, you just think of how that sounds and you think that is such a Transformers Collectors Club thing to do. You know, I don't think Hasbro would do it. FunPub would jump on it in a heartbeat. And, you know, and then you had the stuff that found, you know, and then you had, well, okay, Double Dealer I'm not thrilled with. Scoop I'm not thrilled with. And, yeah, none of the Prime stuff. None of the new Beast Hunter stuff does anything for me. Like, outside of, you know, the stuff we already knew about. I was waiting. Like, I was really waiting for Botcon to have that one big boom thing. You know? Like, you know, the one thing where you just go, like, okay, the Beast stuff is awesome, and that is really, really cool that they're finally doing more Beast toys, but it's not quite what I was expecting to just go and stand up and applaud for. You know, I was waiting for that one big reveal. Did not get it. So that was that was a letdown. Like, I was waiting. This part of me is going, you know, he's in IDW now, so maybe there's a Star Saber. Maybe there is a Star Saber. You know, it's Thrilling 30. It's a little bit of Japanese representation. Doesn't that make sense? Apparently they didn't think so. Not getting it yet. Oh well, there's always the masterpiece vote in Japan. I know Star Saber's going to win that vote. I know he is. There's only 2 that could win, and we've had too many things that look like Optimus Prime in that line already. So that's it. Because my throat is hoarse. I already have to do another video after this. I'm glad it's going to be short. And that's as many things as I can think of. That's all the toys. I hope if you did go to Botcon, you had a good time. I heard the atmosphere was just very dull. Just, you really, it just felt like such a lackluster year. Like, I want to go back to all my Botcon 2010 footage and just kind of like remember, like, this wasn't that long ago. This was good. What happened? You know? So, maybe I'll do that. Maybe it's a good excuse to break that footage out. I'm going to get something to drink, and then I'm going to record the next vlog I have to do, which won't be nearly as long as this, because I've rambled way longer than I should have. So, you know what? Hopefully the Prime stuff will turn around, and yeah, hopefully we can all just sit back and enjoy the Generations goodness. How about that? So, that's everything I got for Botcon. Hopefully next year will be a turnaround year for Transformers. Hopefully FunPub will have some new ideas, and well, hopefully we'll finally get back to where Transformers needs to be. Who knows? You know, this might just be the first step. Hard to tell. But till then, guys, see ya.